This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Joining me on Stockbox today is Brett Boynton, the CEO of Tectonic Gold, which is listed on the Aquis Exchange with the ticker TTAU. So Brett, it's good to talk to you. How are you doing?
Hi, Mark. Yeah, we are doing very well. Since we last spoke, we've been back to shareholders. We've given them an update, and we put a call out on our warrants. So when we raised capital last time, that came with what we called a drill warrant, and we said, look, we're going to take the money, we'll do some work. If you like what we've done, we're going to announce the results. We'll give you 30 days to decide if you want to come in again at a predetermined price. And we had a fantastic uptake on that, so very pleased with the shareholder response. And that fully funds us now to get back into the field, and indeed the team is already back in the field. So the last piece of work we had left from last time, we had to leave the field a little early because we had monsoonal rains come through in Queensland. But we've got back in and done the rehab piece that we didn't have time to do then. And that's given us time to get the dozer out and cut some new roads because we're going to be taking a bigger drill rig back into site this time. Very encouraged with the assay results from last time. From December, we were consistently hitting gold along the strike zone. We sort of tested about 800 meters of a 5 kilometer long strike, and 100% accurate in our drill targeting. We hit gold in every hole. We're getting grades up to sort of 16%, but consistently sort of 1 to 3 grams per ton. And then on the copper, we were getting sort of around 1 to 1.5%. So in the high grade zone, we hit that 16% copper at Southern Copper. And of course, with Rio moving in just north of us, that's now become a primary focus. We want to drill that out and see if we can work that up as a project to partner with Rio or South 32 Newcrest, one of our other regional neighbors. So it's a busy time again. We've got a nice dry run ahead of us in terms of weather in Queensland at the moment. The rainy season's over, so we have a good solid 6 to 9 months of sort of field season available to us, and we're looking to maximize that with the cash in the bank that we have now and get out, do some drilling and post up some more results.
Okay, so this drill warrant then that you referred to, that's unusual. So that was a specific warrant relating to the drill campaign, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. The guys at VSA came up with that, and we thought that was pretty innovative. We knew that if we had good results, we'd want to go straight back into the field and continue with the program. We said, well, we don't want to take too much dilution right away because our share price was sitting at sort of all-time lows. So we raised $500,000, and then we attached a warrant, a 1-for-1 warrant to that for shareholders to come back in. That raise was done at 0.275, and we then had a 0.7 warrant, and that worked very well. So we came out in March with our results, chatted to the shareholders that had come in on the previous round and said, look, we're going to call the warrant. This is where we are. This is the plan. Everybody liked the plan, and we had a very, very high uptake. So
good.
Very pleased with that kind of smart thinking from VSA. And that's got us back into the field with a nice tight register. We've kept everybody involved.
No, that is a good idea. That's not something I've seen before in any company. But what a great kind of idea to get people to buy into the story and the development there, and encourages sort of loyalty and interest there. That is a good idea, and I'm pleased that it's worked for you. So this puts you now in quite a strong position with cash in the bank. And I think you said you're working the ground actually today, aren't you?
Yeah, so we needed to get back out into the field and fulfill our commitments on rehabilitation. Social license has become a much bigger issue in the mining game. And so the first thing we needed to do was get back and make sure all of the rehab work was complete from the last round. So what that means is we go and look at the old drill pads and just make sure that they've been sort of reseeded and grass can grow there again. We push back the topsoil and get those going. The next piece then was to look at the roads and tracks we need to get to our next target sites. And so we had to upgrade some of those roads. So that means getting the dozer in and cleaning those roads up. At the same time, that opened up, we scraped the top off the soil and the vegetation gets scraped off and exposes some fresh rock. And so that's a good opportunity for the field geologists to get back and do some of that first principle mapping, where they actually go out and pick up the rocks and have a look at it and have a discussion and see how that fits in with our model. Mm-hmm. As a discipline, we always bring an independent expert in on that phase, because we want to make sure that we're not kind of just everybody drinking the same Kool-Aid. We want to make sure that we have a robust sort of scientific approach to this, partly because that's best practice, partly because recall we're also a research and development business. All of that information that's gathered goes into our database and goes into our testing as we take new technology out and maintain our R&D status, which is an important part of our funding program, because we're supported significantly by the Australian federal government in that effort while we maintain that R&D status. So that's an important aspect of our funding for us. And of course, for shareholders, that means non-dilutive funding from federal support out of the Australian federal government budget. So this week we have Dr. Brett Davis in the field, mm-hmm. Very highly regarded copper gold specialist, probably most useful for us because he's come directly from Greatland Gold site, and he's one of Newcrest's recognized experts. And so Newcrest is very much one of the majors that we'll be looking to take our package to and look for a joint venture kind of arrangement, the same as they have with Greatland. We'd like to repeat what they've done with Greatland and repeat the share price performance for our shareholders. So Brett is one of the independent experts that we will be using in this round as we build out that data set and that, I guess, the validity and the veracity of that data set for us to go and have these conversations with Rio just to the north of us, South 32, Evolution, Newcrest, and a host of others.
Okay, well, yes, Dr. Brett Davis there seems like a very good appointment, particularly if he's come from sort of doing the Greatland Gold with Newcrest and everything. That's one of the most well-known stories, I think, of recent years of gold exploration in the Victoria area. Now, I noticed in one of the RNSs, and you've mentioned to it there, that you plan to complete drilling this quarter and get the results in front of players like Newcrest and Rio. So, I mean, do you really feel you've got something, you've discovered something major here that could almost mirror a Greatland Gold?
Sure, different style of mineralization, but certainly we feel we're onto a world-class asset. We've got a 5 kilometer long strike. We've had 100% success in everything we've drilled to date. The halo around the sort of primary mineralized areas, we've got all those assay results back now, and we're seeing a nice medium-grade copper halo around the primary copper gold targets. So this is all important from positioning the opportunity as a JV, because whilst in early stage exploration, you're just looking for the gold hit. As we move through the cycle and get more towards, how do we partner up with somebody on this? We need to make sure that this looks like a mine, not just a discovery. And so we need to see that the halo around the high-grade core is economically mineable and is going to contribute to the cash flow in a mining scenario. Mm-hmm. We need to see that there is scale, so that especially for the majors, they want to see a 10-year plus mine life, and they want to see that minimum grade. We've always said our primary filter on a target when we take a project on is that there needs to be prospectivity for 3 million ounces of gold. That's really the kind of sweet spot for the majors, 3 million and up. It's a little different in Western Australia because you've got so many operations there. You can toll treat much smaller discoveries, so you don't need to build a standalone project. But for what we're doing in Queensland, we're in elephant country. We're looking for much bigger deposits, and we certainly feel we're on to a very large opportunity at Specimen Hill.
Okay, it's good. It's good to hear. We should probably touch as well on your South African joint venture. That's the Diamond project. The investment's done quite well, hasn't it? What can you tell us? What's the latest news from that project?
Yeah, so we have a non-dilutive 10% interest in that. We sold that down to Kazera, AIM-listed Kazera, and they've done a great job. They've got the diamonds into production. We've got significant progress now on the mineral sands and rare earths license. So that's all been lodged. It's been acknowledged as compliant, and it's now going to work its way through Mines Department in South Africa. Long delays on that because of COVID. We had thought we'd have that in hand 6 months ago, but that's just where we are. But all positive news on that. So diamonds are coming out. As a project, it's now paying its way. The interesting thing about that project is the diamonds and the heavy mineral sands are the same ore body. Historically, you haven't been able to do anything with the mineral sands because the diamond mine is government owned, and they would only allow, for security reasons, diamond mining concession holders onto the ground. So we've approached them and convinced them that we should be able to prosecute the heavy mineral sands because there are critical rare earths in that heavy mineral sand deposit, which would be of economic benefit to South Africa to get that into production, process them, and start to market and sell those. So we're working with Kazera on that. As soon as that license comes through, we'll replicate the deal we did on the diamonds, and we'll sell down to a non-diluting 10% interest. In that process, we've also become a reasonably significant shareholder in Kazera, and their share price has done pretty well. They're knocking at the door of 2p, I think. Our entry price there was half a p, so very, very happy with that performance over the last 9 months.
Okay, good. And maybe just a final thought from you, Brett, just generally on the gold and precious metal space. Where do you think it's heading?
Well, it's an interesting space to be in because there are die-hard gold bugs that never look left and never look right. They won't talk to you about Bitcoin. Some of them won't even talk to you about other precious metals, platinum and silver. But certainly there is renewed interest with currency volatility in holding gold as a store of wealth. I think there are plenty of gold bugs that have become diversifiers into Bitcoin. And I think with all the press around Bitcoin versus gold, it's probably brought some tech investors into the gold space as well. So we certainly see a lot of interest in gold. We're getting a lot of inbound inquiry from retail investors into who we are and what we're doing as our profile is raised, as the profile of the Aquis exchange has raised. So Aquis have done a fantastic job in terms of attracting high-profile IPOs onto the Aquis exchange, and with that, it's attracted the attention of many more retail brokers now being signed up to participate on the Aquis. So the combination of the work that they've done and the ongoing news flow around gold has certainly attracted a lot of attention to our stock, and we're getting a lot more inbound inquiry. So we see the rest of this year being very, very positive. We've got attentive ears listening now to our news flow, and we are very hopeful that as we push through this program, prove up more of that strike zone that we've mapped out, we can see the share price accrete significantly.
Okay, well, Brett Boynton, the CEO of Tectonic Gold, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Mark. Great to chat.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.